You check one notification, and suddenly, 40 minutes disappear. Not because the content was important, but because your attention no longer knows how to stay still. That is becoming one of the strangest psychological habits of modern life. The brain keeps searching for interruption even during moments that used to feel naturally quiet. Waiting in line becomes scrolling. Eating becomes watching something. Walking becomes background audio. And after enough repetition, silence starts feeling incomplete instead of peaceful. A lot of people now live in permanent mental consumption without realizing how deeply it affects the way they think, react, and emotionally process the world around them. The problem is not technology itself. The problem is what happens when the mind slowly loses its tolerance for stillness, reflection, and uninterrupted thought. And if you have noticed your own attention becoming more fragmented lately, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because these videos are designed for people trying to understand how modern habits quietly shape the mind. Leave a like if this topic feels familiar to you, and comment if you have ever opened your phone for something simple and forgotten why you picked it up in the first place. That experience is becoming far more common than people admit. Share this video with someone who always says they feel mentally tired, even on calm days. Sometimes exhaustion is not coming from physical effort at all. Sometimes the brain simply never gets a real pause long enough to recover from constant stimulation and invisible cognitive overload. Something important disappears when every empty moment gets filled automatically. Boredom. And boredom used to serve a psychological purpose. It gave the mind space to organize memories, process emotions, and generate internal thought without interruption. But now, the second discomfort appears. Distraction arrives immediately after it. A quick video, a notification, a song, another tab, another conversation. The brain becomes trained to escape microseconds of silence before reflection even begins. Over time, this creates a strange emotional side effect. People become less connected to their own internal dialogue. They can still react quickly, answer quickly, and consume quickly, but they struggle to sit with thoughts long enough to understand what they genuinely feel. Their attention stays active all day, while self-awareness quietly becomes weaker in the background. You can see this change in ordinary behavior everywhere now. Someone watches a series while checking messages and scrolling at the same time. Another person cannot finish a meal without opening multiple apps between bites. Even rest starts becoming layered with stimulation. And psychologically that matters, because the nervous system never fully settles into recovery mode. The mind remains partially alert, partially distracted, and partially consuming information almost every waking hour. That constant fragmentation slowly changes emotional regulation. Patience decreases. Irritation appears faster. Focus weakens. Conversations become harder to stay present in. And eventually, people begin confusing overstimulation with normal mental functioning, because they have not experienced genuine cognitive quiet in such a long time. The noise stops feeling loud only because the brain adapts to it. There is also another effect people rarely talk about. Constant stimulation compresses emotional depth. Experiences move through the mind too quickly to fully register. One moment replaces another before the previous one has been emotionally processed. That is why some people feel strangely disconnected from events that should feel meaningful. The mind keeps moving before emotional absorption finishes happening. Even positive experiences become temporary spikes instead of lasting impressions. A dinner ends, and attention immediately shifts elsewhere. A conversation finishes, and the brain searches for another input seconds later. Slowly, life starts feeling flatter. Not because nothing matters, but because attention never remains still long enough for experiences to settle emotionally. Presence requires slowness sometimes, and modern behavior patterns are becoming increasingly hostile towards slowness. At first, quiet feels uncomfortable because the brain expects interruption. That discomfort surprises many people. They sit alone without stimulation and immediately feel restless. Thoughts begin surfacing that constant noise normally keeps buried beneath distraction. Some people instantly reach for entertainment again without even realizing why. But if they resist that impulse long enough, something interesting starts happening. Mental speed decreases. Internal tension softens. Observation returns. Small details become noticeable again. The brain slowly remembers how to focus on one thing at a time instead of reacting to multiple streams of information simultaneously. That is why intentional silence can feel psychologically restorative even when nothing externally changes. The nervous system is finally operating below its normal level of stimulation for the first time in a very long time. A lot of people assume clarity comes from finding better answers, but often clarity comes from removing unnecessary input. The human brain was never designed to absorb endless opinions, updates, headlines, entertainment, and emotional reactions every hour of the day. At some point, the system begins prioritizing speed over depth just to keep up. And when that happens, people become easier to influence emotionally because reflection becomes weaker. Immediate reactions start replacing deliberate thought. That is why highly stimulated environments often create more impulsive behavior, stronger emotional swings, and shorter attention spans. The mind becomes reactive instead of reflective. And the dangerous part is that this transition happens gradually enough to feel normal. People adapt to overstimulation long before they recognize how much it has reshaped their internal world. There are moments when this becomes suddenly visible. Someone tries reading a few pages and checks the phone after 2 minutes. Another person watches short videos for hours but struggles to stay engaged during a normal conversation. Some people even feel anxious when nothing is happening around them. Not because silence is harmful, but because their nervous system has become dependent on constant input. The brain starts treating stillness almost like deprivation. And once that dependency forms, ordinary life begins feeling slower and emotionally weaker by comparison. This creates a cycle where more stimulation is needed to maintain the same level of engagement. But the more noise enters the system, the harder it becomes to experience calm, focus, and emotional presence naturally. The mind keeps accelerating, while satisfaction quietly decreases. What makes this difficult is that modern culture rewards visible activity. Constant responsiveness looks productive. Constant availability looks socially healthy. Constant engagement looks successful. So people rarely question the psychological cost of always being mentally connected to something. But the human mind needs moments where nothing is demanding attention. Not because inactivity is superior, but because uninterrupted stimulation slowly erodes emotional balance. Some of the clearest thinking happens during ordinary quiet moments people now try to eliminate automatically: driving without audio, sitting outside briefly, cleaning without entertainment playing in the background. These moments seem insignificant, yet they allow the brain to process reality at a more natural pace again. Reflection usually does not arrive during noise. It arrives after the noise finally stops competing for attention. The solution is probably not total disconnection. Most people are not going to abandon technology or disappear from modern life completely. The healthier shift is becoming more intentional about attention itself, learning when stimulation is useful and when it becomes compulsive, learning how to notice automatic habits before they fully control behavior, learning how to tolerate stillness without instantly escaping from it. Because once a person regains that ability, something important returns with it: mental presence. Conversations feel clearer, time feels slower, experiences feel more emotionally complete. The brain stops operating like an open browser with dozens of tabs running simultaneously. And gradually, people begin reconnecting with parts of themselves that constant distraction had been quietly interrupting for years without them fully realizing it. One of the strangest consequences of modern overstimulation is that many people now feel mentally crowded, even when physically alone. The noise continues internally because attention never fully settles. Thoughts remain fragmented. Emotional processing remains incomplete. And rest never feels entirely restorative. But once a person understands that this state is partly behavioral instead of purely emotional, change becomes possible. Small adjustments start creating noticeable psychological relief. Fewer unnecessary interruptions. More moments without automatic consumption. More awareness of where attention keeps getting pulled throughout the day. None of this makes life perfect, but it changes the relationship between the mind and the environment around it. And sometimes that shift alone is enough to make someone feel mentally present in their own life again after years of invisible cognitive overload. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Leave a like. Comment if you have ever gone through something like this. See you in the next video.